I have a younger brother. He's about to be 13 this year, so he's just now entering those teenage years where things start to get awkward. He's in middle school, and I'm hoping that I can help him make that transition into your teenage years, the young adulthood, a bit smoother than it was for me. But yeah, so like this is the first year that we've had where I'm like an actual established adult. I don't live in the same house as him, and you know I've been out in the world for a while, so I've got plenty of real world experience. But it's never been just me and him hanging out together, and I'm very excited for the prospect of being like a mentor to him, because I know he looks up to me, and if he watches this video, he might deny. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he ever sees it. But I want to be able to be a good influence on him and give him some of that masculine advice and guidance that I wish that I had when I was his age. So without wasting any more time, I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. So advice number one, I've mentioned this on the channel before. Do not watch porn. All right, like I understand that as you start to get to an age, you start to want to do something, but porn is not the way to go. All right, you need to learn how to control yourself first, and you know, learn how to control your urges, control your brain and your emotions, because your emotions will lead you to getting addicted to porn. And as somebody who's done it and beat it, no pun intended, and gone back to it and has quit again, I can tell you that it's not something that you want to have to deal with, because there's so many negatives that I want to get into in another video, but there's so many negatives to watching porn, bro, that it's just not worth the pleasure. That's the 10 seconds of pleasure that you get from whatever you're doing. Like, I swear, please, God, if that's the one thing you take away from this video right now, is that please don't watch porn, and do not let yourself become addicted to it, because it is not an easy thing to kick, man. Like, I started around the same time watching and doing, you know, whatever, and like I'm just now coming to a point where I can say that I've quit. You know what I mean? So if it's taken me, what, 11 years, don't do it, because even myself, I didn't get to certain levels of the addiction, and that's why I think I was able to quit before, and why I know that I'm able to quit now. So not easily, but I just know that it can get a lot worse than the way that I've had it. So yeah, don't let that become something that you have to deal with. Don't carry that burden. It's not worth it, and you don't know what you're missing out on until you actually do it. So don't do it at all. Advice number two. I know that you live in a very digital world. All right, I came up pretty much through the explosion of it, but if I could tell you one thing to do, is to try and minimize your social media use. There's a lot of things that I would tell you not to do, but this is one thing that I think has kind of have like a stranglehold on Gen Z and later. I don't know what the next generation is after Gen Z, but yeah, it's got this stranglehold over my generation and his, and it's like it's not letting people go. Like, people, if you look at people our age, and even millennials, like, look at them in their spare time, and most of them are doing this. They're all spending their time scrolling, looking for that next hit of dopamine and that next funny video or that next like that's coming in. Everybody's looking for validation from other people. Like, you should be able to generate that validation internally by what you're doing with your life. It's worth it to kind of right now have a bit of difference from your peers and not use a bunch of Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, because it's all engineered to suck you in and waste hours and hours and hours on there. And it's a losing battle if you try to use it and not have like extremely specified parameters, like I'm using this for business and business only. I only go on Instagram to make business posts. You're fighting a losing battle. You won't be able to just say, I'm gonna scroll mindlessly for 2 minutes and get my fill and not wanna scroll more. It's completely engineered to make you wanna spend as much time as possible on the app because that's how they make their money, all right? So don't fall into that trap because everybody else has. And number 3, advice number 3, the last one that I wanna give to you as my little brother or whoever else is watching this video. I want to give you the advice of not trying to be like everyone else or actually standing out from other people, because most people have large desires for what they want in their life and the lifestyle they want to live, and most people settle for less than what they can actually do. And that's just a generality, like that's just going to happen. Not everybody can be rich, not everybody can be above average, because then there is no above average. So that means that there's space for you to be more than what you think you can be, right? If you have desires, most people will say, oh, it's unrealistic, but it's only unrealistic to people who don't have the ambition and the drive to separate themselves from their peers. Like I said in the previous set of advice, it's not worth it to dumb yourself down to be able to fit in with a crowd if it's gonna mean sacrificing the things that you want in the future and the success that you want in the future. And honestly, most people have terrible habits. Look at most people's nutrition habits. A majority of the people in the country are overweight. Look at people's exercise, relating back to the nutrition, like the heart disease and all this stuff that most people have issues with in this country. You don't have to have that. Don't try to fit in. Be able to communicate with people, but there's no need for you to try and dumb yourself down just so you can relate to the latest meme or the latest trend. So yeah, in my conclusion of this video, I just want my little brother to enjoy his teenage years, his college years if he decides to go to college, and his early 20s. I want him to be able to enjoy those things even more than I did. I figured out a lot of this stuff on my own just because I had to, and I was tired of living a certain life of mediocrity. I didn't like the way that I was living, so I decided to go out and work on myself and learn these skills and habits and change the way that I think about things because I wanted to live a different kind of life. So if I can give him my story and give you my story, if you're whoever's watching this, and you can learn from the mistakes that I made, you're gonna be in good position. The saying is, a man learns from his own mistakes, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Learn from my mistakes and take my advice because it's coming from a genuine place. Also, go out and explore the world. You know, explore yourself and your interest in the real world. There's a lot that you can do online, but the real fulfillment that you're gonna get is going out and experiencing your world, like the world in front of you, and not something that's projected, some fake, unrealistic life that's projected on a screen in your pocket, right? That's not gonna teach you anything. That's not gonna give you anything. I learned the most when I put the video games down, I put my phone down, and I went out and I started doing things. I started getting involved, and yeah. So that kind of wraps up the advice that I would give to you or to my little brother, that I will give my little brother when he comes up here this summer. I'm gonna be on him. All right, I'm in a good way. If you want to get some more advice on something else, I have another video here. I got some more stuff coming. If you want to subscribe, then I'll put my face or my I'll put the link right here, and you can do that as well. But that's pretty much it. I'll see you next time. Bye.